Hey there, this is Derek Murphy. Tonight I'm going on a little trip down memory lane and looking at one of my books that's earned $10,000. And the reason this is really interesting is I launched this post about 5 years ago in 2018 when the first book was published. And this is a very, very long and detailed blow by blow book launch plan where I'm doing all the things and then talking about all the things that I'm doing. That's what's working, what's not working. It's a really long, involved post. It's kind of stream of consciousness. So there's a lot of content in there, and I tested out Facebook ads, BookBub ads, all the things that the authors do. And I think at the time I got about 500 sales. I think I spent about $500 and I made 1,000 with that first book launch. I got to about number 2,000 or something in the Amazon store, number one in a bunch of my categories. So the point was this is a quiet launch that I wasn't really working hard at, but I also didn't do tremendously well. But down here at the bottom 5 years ago, I said even though this wasn't a super success, I will probably earn 10K with this book altogether. So I thought that was kind of fascinating, where I just checked it tonight. I'm already just past 10K with this first book. This was like a little prequel, so it was free. It didn't make any money. This is the same book, but with a new cover because I just finished the series and I'm about to relaunch it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some things I'm going to be doing differently this time around for another vampire book launch. So here's my earnings per month, and you can see like I did really well on launch. Not great, but I made a couple $1,000s, almost $4,000 the first couple of months, and then it starts to go down quickly. And then because I'm lame and I haven't ever finished a series since then, I'm just about to relaunch it here. I probably did some free campaigns and stuff. I put out book 2. This was probably book 2 and book 3 when I did a little bit more marketing or advertising, but I haven't really been promoting it since then. If I include all the books, these are all the new covers for the new series. I launched book 3 last year, which was probably about here, but I did a really soft launch. I wasn't very confident about it, and I've actually added about 30% new content now that book 4 is ready to come out. I don't know exactly how much I've spent, invested in these series, but I've never really been focused on profit yet because I feel like it'll be easier to focus on profit when the series is actually completed, and the rest of it is kind of just experience and platform building. So the fun thing is I'm currently going through and making a case study of the relaunch with the audiobooks and the full box set. So I'm editing this original post with a 5-year update now that I'm kind of working on the new stuff, and I'm going to make this little video pointing out some of the things I'm doing differently that I'll also include in this article. So down here at the bottom, I've added some of my newer graphics that I'll probably use for Facebook ads, where I have the new book covers for the series. The 4th book cover needs some work. It's not great yet. This is some art that I had made. I've got a short review quote here. I'm only actually looking at, I'm going to start Facebook ads again maybe tomorrow. And some of these early Facebook ads that I was using 5 years ago, they were already doing pretty well. So I might even be able just to dust them off and keep them running. Or I'll just use some of the same pieces of this original ad to test out some more. I have a ton of really cool vampire images this time. I also made some little ad boxes for BookBub for the free campaign because the book is free this week. So I might test those out. I'll probably set those up tomorrow as well. And then this is a newer version of the cover, although this one's slightly different from the one that's on Amazon right now, and I might prefer this one, so I might have to go back and switch that. Even so, there's a huge difference between these graphics and all the stuff I used in the last book launch 5 years ago, so I think that'll help. But then the other main thing, I have a lot more reviews, 530 reviews on the first book. I redid all of my blurbs for each of these books also, and I don't think I ever really promoted the series when book 3 came out because I wasn't really sure about it. These are all $4.99, but I'm running a free campaign with Kindle Unlimited for book 1 right now. This one and this one will have a Kindle countdown deal at 99 cents. This one just hasn't kicked in yet. And then I've got book 4 over here on pre-order, and I have a pre-order set about 2 weeks out. And then also over here in the series page, I've already added my box set. You can add a box set and connect it as not part of the series, but related content, and it shows up down here. So this is also out on pre-order. And basically I'll be trying to get people to sign up for the free book, read through the series at a discount, and then buy either book 4 or the box set. Once this relaunch is all finished and these books are live, I'll probably focus on advertising the box set and not just like having a book launch and trying to get high in the store, but consistent, long-term, strong income is what I'm going for. So I have to make ads profitable. I also have audiobooks for the first 3.5. So I need to finish book 4, which will take a while. I need to reformat all the books and make print books, which will take a while. But I gave myself a little bit of space by this is on pre-order for 2 weeks. So I've got a couple weeks to still figure some things out. But I am doing quite a lot of pre-marketing now that I've got book 1 free. All I've done so far, I put a couple things up on Facebook and I emailed my list. Right now it's almost 1,000 in the free store on the first day. So these are some of the things that I'm doing in the case study for the 21-day bestselling author platform. A lot of this is stuff that I talked about in that article on my blog, but that's so messy, and in this one I've made videos kind of showing through how it all works together. So I mentioned already I set up the pre-orders for the final book. What I should have done is redone the formatting for books 1, 2, and 3 and make sure that the book 3 at least links to the pre-order now that it's up. I probably won't do that because I'm lazy. Then I scheduled some email blasts or ad stacking. So I used I Love Vampire Novels, Free Booksy, Fussy Librarian, Book Barbarian. I applied for Hello Books, but I don't think I'm in that one. I also used Katie ROI to submit my book to some more stuff. David Goggins got a really nice list of book promo sites. There's also a tool here that will submit your book to a bunch of sites all at once. And then there's BookBub, which I applied for, but they're really exclusive, so it's hard to time it, even if you get accepted, to correlate with your book launch schedule. But they do have a couple of new features. They have a feature for pre-orders where you can send out, I think, your pre-order to your own followers. It was something like $8, and it'll send it out to my 500 US followers or something. So I did that for book 4 and also for the box set. I could also be applying for like BookBub feature deals for books 1, 2, and 3. There was I mentioned the pre-order one. There was another one that was a new release feature, but they changed the wording on it a little bit, so it's different from how I remember. I thought the new release only went out to your own followers. This is kind of like a new program version of the new release where you have to apply for it something like 6 months, up to 6 months before you even launch it. You can apply for it and maybe they'll schedule you. So I don't know if there's any benefit to trying to get one of those before you publish versus after you publish. You kind of just want to try to get as many as you can whenever you can, and then schedule your book launch plans around it if you can get it. However, I'm also fairly confident that once the box set is up at the regular price of $9.99, it'll be easier for me to get BookBub deals for the box set because it's a much steeper discount. I also set up some newsletter swaps. There's sites that you can use to find newsletter swaps like BookFunnel or Story Origin. I also put some posts up on a few Facebook groups that are built to help genre authors cross-promote. So I asked if anybody wanted to, share my free campaign with their email list in exchange for me sharing something of theirs. And I got a few takers, so I've got to schedule those out. And then I also made quite a few Amazon ads. I think I made 5 different Amazon ads focusing on either the first book or the box set. I think those are the 2 main ones I tried to promote. I also did an Amazon ad where I featured 4 of the books, all the books in the series at the same time. I tried some automatic ads. I tried some category-based ads, so like just the categories for best young adult vampire books or whatever. And then I tried some keyword ads. Those are the ones I'm most excited about, because what I'm trying to do is train or even remind Amazon what kind of book I have and who likes it, because it's really important for long-term sales to make sure your book is kind of sticky. It's also kind of dangerous. If I do a free book campaign and give away a lot of copies, I might attract a lot of freebie seekers who don't read in my genre, and it could really mess up my also bots. You want to be careful about what kind of free promos you book, and you don't want to book on a site that just is going to get you a lot of downloads, but they're just a lot of random people. It's not worth it to spike your rank up higher if they're not people who are going to enjoy your book, or they buy other books that aren't related in your genre, and it's just going to mess up your visibility on Amazon. So what I do instead is I search on Amazon for vampire, and then I see what shows up. So when people search on vampire, it's not necessarily what everyone's going to see, because it probably also customizes it to my account a little bit. But I want to take a look at what shows up for vampire and try to find things that are relevant with the same audience. And then when I go through the list of books that show up under vampire, I'll scroll down and check out. I want to check out what they're doing on their page, because I want to find out, why are they ranking so quickly. This one's got a long excerpt of chapter 1, which is pretty cool. That's something I've done in the past. I might try to do again. But if I scroll down all the way down here, teen and young adult vampire books, teen and young adult vampire fiction, that's really my perfect genre. That's where I want to be. So if I click on that one and I look at all those bestsellers, I'll want to copy down the author name and the book title of anything that looks like it would fit in my audience. So I'll go down through this category. I'll go down through any other relevant categories, and I'll build a big list of book titles and author names that are good matches for my own book. I'll use all of that when I'm setting up an Amazon ad for the keywords. So I did this maybe in 20 minutes. I had about 300 keywords. I created some ads with those keywords. So the idea is, even if I'm not really making immediate money advertising the box set, which is on pre-order, which doesn't have any reviews, so it's not going to convert very well, or the free book, which I'm not really making any money from, but hopefully I'm getting new people into the series. It's not only just about making money with the ads. I'm really paying to train Amazon. So I'm paying Amazon to take a look at how I'm spending money, and hopefully some people are buying, and those people are people who are also buying other vampire young adult books that are similar. So I'm paying so that Amazon learns how to promote my book. It might not be the smartest move to advertise a book that's on pre-order, or to advertise a book that's free with a free promotion, because that's obviously going to be losing money. But later on, when the books go back to regular full price of $4.99, I want my ads to already sort of know what's going on. Hopefully I'll already have done a lot of research with all those keywords. I'll know which ones are working or which ones aren't working. This is sort of just like the research phase to see what might work. I'll get better information faster because I have a free book. So more people are going to take the offer. If you're just advertising a paid book, you're not going to get as many downloads because people have to pay for it. So it'll take longer or more money in ad spend for Amazon to figure out what to do with you, as opposed to advertising a free book that gets a lot of downloads. I may not make as much money, but I'm giving Amazon more information. And the last thing that I'm going to do, which is more of a fun vanity project, I want to rank #1 in Google for best vampire books. I think I already rank for best young adult or best teen vampire books on my young adult book blog, but that's not a lot of actual search traffic. So I can rank #1, but it doesn't actually mean very much if only 100 people a month are searching for that particular thing. So ranking a blog article on Google doesn't really convert directly very well to book sales, but it's kind of free traffic. It'll take some work to fix my articles so that they rank better. But if I get more traffic from people searching for vampire books and they show up on my page and I show them a big ad for my book series or my box set or whatever, that's an audience I control. It's new traffic and new readers all the time that I'm not paying for. So it's worth it for me to do it, but it's a lot of work for a lot of authors, and it's never really a bad idea, but a lot of authors may not see the value. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's kind of fun. I only read this tonight after I was already working on all this stuff. So it's kind of fun to see. I'm using about half the same tools or resources that I used in the last book launch. I'm still pretty casual about my book launches, but I also am cautiously optimistic because for the first time I have a box set, a completed series. Soon I will have a full audiobook box set, which can make a big difference in income. So those ads that were like barely profitable 5 years ago, I might be able to keep them profitable now. So instead of doing one book launch and spending a bunch of money, I might be able to consistently spend advertising money every month to make consistent long-term income. So in this article 5 years ago, I said, maybe this book will earn 10K lifetime, and it's already done that. Now I'm kind of going to set myself a higher goal, which would be 100K for the whole series. I showed you I've already made about 15K from this series, but it's probably not been a lot of traffic, and it hasn't really been a strong earner. I think my normal rank last week was like 300 or 400,000 in the Amazon store, which means, almost no sales. And right now I'm sort of just playing around with the free book. If I give away a lot of book 1 for free and they read through the series, I'm hoping to get some pre-orders on the book 4 and also for the box set, so that when those books launch, hopefully they'll be a little stickier in the ecosystem. The whole series will show up a little bit better in search results. And if I can keep Facebook ads or Amazon ads running profitably, like I mentioned in the last one, I think I said I spent like $500 and I made $1,000. So if I could spend, $50,000 a month and make $100,000 a month, that's 50K a month from this one series, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's sort of the same numbers. It's not out of the realm of possibility, even though I don't have a lot of confidence going into it. I think my last book launch for book 1, I got to maybe 2,000 or 3,000 in the Amazon store, so nothing really crazy. This time, it'd be amazing to break the top 100 in the store. The other really interesting thing about the previous book launch that I had forgotten was, when the book came out, like the first night, the first couple of days, I was hovering around maybe 10,000, and a few weeks later, I was more at like 2,000 or 3,000. So it's not like a book launch where you just get a huge spike. Like a BookBub campaign is like one huge spike, a really good rank, and then it starts dropping and it goes back to zero. But my original campaign sort of worked pretty well, where it was a pretty casual campaign, but I kept pushing and trending upwards. This will probably be similar, where I'm doing a lot of pre-marketing stuff for the pre-order books, but after they launch and I get some reviews on them, I'll try to scale up the advertising to see how well or how fast I could really scale this thing. This is only my first ever completed finished series, so this is all sort of new territory for me, but I will have more completed series this year and next year that I can, the more I learn, the better it's gonna pay off for me. Right now I wouldn't mind hitting, it's also weird because like I'm not really promoting book 1. Book 1 is free, so I don't know if I'm going to get high in the paid store for book 1. I probably won't. But I can get in the top 100 in the free store pretty easily, so I'll do that at least. I don't think like book 4, probably I can't push really high in the Amazon store because it's a book 4. It's weird for people to start with book 4, but the box set I can probably push a lot higher. So later on, maybe I'll do a BookBub with the box set whenever. I'll probably keep the price at $9.99 until BookBub finally accepts me, which could be anytime in the future. And then that'll help to push the rank up a lot higher. What I've noticed with box sets though is that whether you price it $9.99 or 99 cents, they tend to be pretty good, stable. I mean, from what I've heard, they tend to be stable earners because you get paid a lot in page reads. This series is like 1,500 pages or something like that. So whether people buy it for $9.99 or if they read it all and I get paid roughly $6. At $9.99 I would get 70%, which is roughly $6. So it sort of works out about the same. But if this was like a 99-cent book, I wouldn't make very much from the 99-cent box set book. But if the rank was really high and a lot of KU people borrowed it, I'd be getting paid more from those page reads. I'll update this post in a couple weeks with some of the results, although probably I'll be marketing this book for the next month, on and off, testing out ads, and then hopefully I'll leave my ads on, which I've never really been able to do before. I always turn them off because they end up unprofitable. I can't really afford to market my books the way I'd like to, but I can reinvest anything that I earn back into the book promotion. So if I can keep this book breaking even, my main sort of plan was just to have breaking even products. Because, for example, crazy idea, if I've got some credit cards that give me miles or points or something, if I spend $1 million in ads and I make $1 million back in in sales, I'm basically just washing the money, but I'm getting all of those points. I'd be getting 1 million miles or points or whatever. So if I was able to break even with my fiction, I could travel around the world for free because I'd get a ton of flight points and miles. And I'd be okay with breaking even at this point, even if I'm spending a bunch of money. As long as I'm making it back, I'll just keep spending the money. This series will be more profitable when I have all the print books up, when I have the completed audiobooks up. So if I'm breaking even now, it'll probably switch into profit later. And maybe, I'll be losing money on ads for the first few weeks until I figure out what's working, and then I can finally fine tune some ads that are really performing well, and I can leave those running until the market gets saturated. So I feel like I'm sort of in the same place doing the same thing as I was 5 years ago. I'm a little bit more experienced at this point, and I think things are going to work out better for me because I have more content that's more professionally designed and presented. All my sales copy and marketing stuff is a little bit better. So we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work, I've got several other series. Some of them are a little bit more popular than this one, and I really will be focused on finishing up those series and then doing the same thing until I've got a pretty big backlist. I may not make money with my fiction for another 5 years. I may have to put out, my plan is 10 completed series with box sets. That was my plan, 7 years ago or so when I started, and I haven't finished a series yet. So I'm a little bit, or a lot, maybe like 90% slower than I had planned to be, but that's sort of an issue I'm becoming used to. So if this book launch doesn't really make a lot of money right now, even so, I'll probably start trending up towards 100K just for this series over the next few years. And the main goal is just to learn how to do what I'm doing well enough so that when I finally have the backlist, I'm doing it all a lot better. Maybe, in 5 years, I've got my 10 different series and I realize everything needs to go, or I find some new marketing hack or whatever. On the one hand, I've built an author platform that will help support me in the future. But also sometimes you can very quickly make a huge difference. If I just recover an old series, I rewrite the blurbs, you can make a huge difference in conversion with just a few tiny changes. If you don't know what you're doing, this is why it can be useful to get somebody else to give you some feedback about what you can help change or improve on your Amazon page. If you don't know why you're not selling, or ads aren't working, or a free book campaign isn't working, there's probably a reason, and not everybody knows how to tell you what to fix to boost conversion. But it doesn't have to be a ton of work, and it doesn't have to take 5 years. If you've already got a backlist or you already have some books out, you might be able to be profitable very quickly with a few simple changes. I think for this book launch, even though I said I'm not very confident about it, I should try to hit 10K or so in the first month. So with book 4 and also with the box set's $9.99. I only make $6 from it, but even so, imagine it's $10 per sale. If I sell 100 copies, I'd make about $1,000. If I sell 1,000 copies, then I'd make closer to 10K. I've always kind of said that 100 sales, especially on your first book launch, is actually like, it doesn't sound very impressive. So when I tell people, I can help you sell 100 books, it doesn't sound very attractive. But what a lot of authors do is they try to sell 1,000,000 books and then they can't get anybody to buy their book at all. So there's something to be said for more reasonable goals that you can feel good about yourself for achieving. And also, the majority of books, both traditional and self-published, never sell more than 100 copies. So even if you can just sell 100 copies, you've already sort of proven the concept and sold more than average. Assuming you're not just selling them to friends and family. By 100 sales, I mean, 100 sales to strangers who don't know you, who like to read books in your genre. But I have been doing this for a while. I think I sort of know what I'm doing. So once I turn on ads for Facebook and Amazon, once I get everything running smoothly, I don't think it would be impossible to sell 1,000 copies, even if that is a lot of ad spend. If I spend $5,000 to make $10,000, I'm still making 5K, even if I spent like $8,000 to make 10K. This is a mental thing that I'm still struggling with, but if I spend $8 to make $10, it doesn't feel great, and I don't think it's very successful. But if I spend 80K a month to make 100K a month, that's 20K a month. That's really good full-time income for a writer. 200K a year. So even if my ad spend is really high and I don't really feel like this conversion is great, it might still work at much higher numbers. As long as you can break even and keep scaling up, that's success. So I'm trying to find a point where my ads for this book series can break even, and then hope that I can just keep spending money and see, what happens. I've never been to this point yet because I haven't had enough content, but I'll update this in a little bit, in a month maybe, once I've got some results in. But I'm also making videos about all this stuff as I go through, that I'm keeping in my 21-day bestselling author platform course area. There's a lot of new stuff that I only discovered recently, or some very new cutting-edge tools, whether it's AI stuff or just new services that weren't available 5 years ago, and some things that are just, random flights of the imagination, where I'm looking at something and I think this is a crazy marketing idea that could work. Sometimes I'll try it out. That's the kind of stuff I'll usually share in videos that I don't always make public. But hopefully, even in this really short crash course, I mentioned some stuff that could be useful for you. I think this is really interesting to see, 5 years of progress, to see what's been happening. I'm not like an overnight instant wonder success, but I'm a slow plodding author who's trying to make this work, like I think most authors probably are. But I have the advantage of working in publishing for 20 years, so I've got quite a bit of experience with book design and book marketing, and industry stuff that not all authors are aware of. Let me know if you like this video or any questions that you have. Please don't go buy this book if you're not a young adult vampire fantasy fan, because you'll screw up my also bots. So this is kind of just for entertainment or educational purposes. If you want to share the book, share the link, share my fiction writing site, that's fine. But I kind of try to keep my nonfiction and my fiction stuff separate because you're different audiences and I don't want to mess up the Amazon algorithms. Also, I sometimes get authors who read my books just to see whether or not I can write and judge me for it, and then sometimes they'll write not very pleasant reviews for my books because, they obviously were not the right readers for these commercial fantasy novels. I don't mind negative reviews, but I think when someone, reads my fiction skeptically because they see me as a book marketer or cover designer or something like that, those tend to be harsher reviews that don't correlate with the regular readers who overall, seem satisfied with my fiction. I'm not saying I'm the best writer in the world. I'm not recommending my books. But I do think, they're pretty decent for the right audience. I'm happy with them. I'm proud of them. But I'm mostly pointing this out for yourself. It's not always the right move to promote your books anywhere or talk about your books anywhere. When it's the wrong audience, you almost specifically want to tell them what not to do, because it is important to make sure to remind yourself you want to be always advertising or marketing to the right person. And I mentioned somewhere up here, I think in my revised blog post. So here's a side note insight from 2023. Derek, you want people to buy the book for the book because they want the book, not for any other reason. So be careful about, fun, crazy ideas to get a lot of visibility or promotion that are more like publicity stunts. You don't want to ask for favors. You don't want people to support you. You want real people who are looking to buy books on Amazon to find your book and want to buy it because the cover, the blurb, and the reviews sell them on the book for the price that you're offering it for. That's sort of the whole ball game. It's easy to get distracted on, fun marketing stuff. And I still do a lot of that because I don't mind the publicity. It's always sort of nice to get backlinks to support your platform. But I try not to promote my fiction to a general broad market, especially like my most of my audience is authors, publishing, self-publishing, things like that. They're not the right audience for this particular book series, and especially because I'm paying to advertise on Amazon to try to clean up my the algorithms and my also bots. It's almost risky to do stuff like this and talk about the case study that I'm doing with my fiction because it probably will end up polluting those audiences a little bit. But anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Let me know if you have questions, post a comment if you want to talk about anything else. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.